This year, my brother and I are making a dream come true. We're racing in Formula Karting.
Formula Karting is probably the most competitive rental karting championship in Belgium.
We'll be racing on 10 tracks all over the country on indoor and outdoor tracks, and we're really looking forward to see how much we can improve. Currently driving towards Kortrijk for the second round of Formula Karting. We actually partook in the first round as well, but unfortunately because of technical reasons we weren't really able to make a video out of it. But right now we're driving, well, my brother is actually driving. I'm being the passenger princess here, but we're driving to World Karts. And the track looks amazing, it looks really fast. They just changed the layout, so we might have a little bit less of a disadvantage. Either way, practice is going to be very important.
P1 baby.
And I don't think we're gonna be anywhere near the top, but it's gonna be interesting, that's for sure.
We had 2 practice sessions at the start, and of course I went out first, not knowing the track, with all the locals chasing me down.
Straight away, we saw this track is no joke. It's a bit like the Singapore GP circuit if it was a karting track. Walls everywhere and no room for error.
Like here, in this chicane, where I hit both walls. After a few laps, I quickly realized that qualifying was really important on this track.
And just so you guys understand how technical this track really is, I want to take you on a full lap around World Karts in Kortrijk. The lap starts with a long left-hander where your rear tires will want to drift, so you'll have to manage that before chucking the kart into this small hairpin. Afterwards is a long left-hander that takes you into a slightly banked corner and then into this right-hand kink. Afterwards we have an extremely fast chicane, but you'll have to brake early if you want to maximize this last corner going into the back straight. Finally, you have a little bit of a breather down this alley before this very fun hairpin and going over the bridge. Here it's quite bumpy before we go back downhill, and with the speed that you've acquired you will have to lift a little bit if you want to avoid spinning or losing too much time. A little bit of a braking zone before we exit the snail's house via a very long right-hander where you will feel the G-forces. Then we'll be coming into a very satisfying hard braking zone into a hairpin. Afterwards there's this left-hander, which took me way too long to get right, and then another hairpin going towards the right, where this time you probably have a little bit too much room, you don't want to go too wide. And then comes the final corner, which to this day to me is still a big mystery. And that is a very physical lap around World Karts. And with that in mind, we got ready for our first heats.
Despite being my first time on this track, I managed to qualify P20 out of 23. And with everyone so close together, I was under pressure right from the start. There was a guy named Dimitri who got closer to me lap after lap. He was just waiting for me to make a mistake. I hit the wall twice, and that was all he needed to dive up the inside into the next hairpin.
On a track so tight, any overtake is bound to be messy.
Yeah, but I was still so annoyed with that move.
What the fuck?
For my first heat, I qualified in last place for the very first time in my life, and let me tell you how frustrating that was. But in the end, it gave me a pretty good view, one that you've probably never seen. If you've ever wondered what it looks like all the way at the back of a field of 23 cars following really closely to each other, this is exactly it. Thanks to an early pit stop, I managed to gain back one position, but at the end of the day, our goal became pretty damn clear. We just didn't want to finish last. What was also very apparent is that this round was completely different to the one we had in Spa.
In Spa we could overtake, we felt like we made progress, and there was even rain involved. We had new experiences, and we felt like we were getting better.
In Kortrijk, it was nothing like it. Every race felt like a survival race. A survival not to finish last.
But then, in Heat 10, we could finally race each other.
This time, I qualified 22nd out of 23.
And I was 20th.
But I was gonna do anything I can to try and overtake you.
Yeah, you can try.
We're starting this race on board with me as I chase down my brother in the white helmet, but as you can see, he's already under pressure from the driver behind, and I'm about to find out what his one biggest weakness is on this track.
I struggled all day in the hairpin after the bridge, and at this point it cost me dearly.
They headed side by side towards the back straight, and I could see my brother had the disadvantage. He got overtaken into the hairpin, and then as soon as we headed towards the bridge, I gave him a little bump so neither of us would lose too much time. But from that point onwards, I would stay glued to his back bumper to try and get his position.
I decided to pit early and put my arm up.
And I was just so confused at that point because I was so concentrated on trying to stay behind him that I thought there was some kind of yellow flag that I had missed and that he was acknowledging with his hand up, until I saw him peel into the pits. So at that point I knew I had to lock in and do everything I can on the next lap, so when I would pit in, he would be behind me. For the next lap I gave it everything I had and hit every apex.
And of course I did the same, and when I finished my lap, I still saw you in the pits.
Yeah, unfortunately I turned my head and I saw you arriving way too quick for my liking. Despite losing to you once again, we both managed to fulfill our goal until that point. But we still both had one more race to go through.
For my last stint, I finally understood the track. But I made some mistakes and I ended up 21st out of 23. During the race, I was glued to the guy in front of me and I knew I was faster. Even after my pit stop, I came right behind him. And I couldn't find a way past.
One lap, one lap. Ah, fucked up. Come on, come on. Oh, I'm fucking close, mate. I'm so fucking close, mate. Woo.
Desperate to make something happen, I made contact with him on the very last lap. That was my final chance to overtake him.
Oh, fuck. My bad. Oh, shit, I fucked up.
Despite all of that, I didn't finish last.
Then came my final race of the day, and straight away I wasn't happy with my car's performance. I could tell qualifying would be horrible, and for the second time that day I qualified in last place. I would need a miracle to try and not finish last. And thankfully, at the race start, a miracle is exactly what happened. I finished the race with 4 22nd places out of 23. And honestly, I would never have thought that I would have been happy with such a result. But not finishing last is really the beginning of this journey. We still have a lot to improve, and I can tell you the next round is gonna be a lot better.
And if you want to follow our journey, make sure to subscribe.
And we will see you in the next race. Next time on Formula Karting. My brother decided to leave, which means this would be my last chance to beat him in a race. And then as soon as practice was over, it started pouring rain, and this would only be my second time ever experiencing a wet track. And as the track dried, I managed to put on my best performance ever in a karting race. But would this be enough to beat my brother?